are at the tail end of Business AM this morning. Good. So that means we've not closed our markets yet. We're still on with it. And they say the last part is usually the best part. Stephanie Waswa was giving me an analogy of cooking beef or frying beef with tomatoes, and then the saucepan that is used to cook that beef, the last part of whatever is left in the saucepan is the sweetest. Okay, good. So we are at that part now. So we talk about business and success in business. You do realize that even as you talk about numbers and profits and sales, you need people in your business, or you need to be that person, therefore, who knows exactly what leadership is. On Business AM, we talk about personal development, and that is one of the integral areas in which your business is going to rely on when it comes to development and pushing it to further levels. This morning, we are joined by Annabelle Gichure. She's a psychologist and life coach, a Divas of transformational excellence. Today, we're going to have a talk on personal leadership and development. Annabelle, thank you very much for joining us on Business AM.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about what Divas of transformational excellence is all about.
Okay, Divas of Transformational Excellence, it's a mentorship forum.
Yes.
For young people, where I mentor young people to take up leadership. So you equip them by empowering them with the leadership skills.
Yes.
And how can they take up their ground? How can they learn from the people who have gone before them?
Yes.
And how can they leave a blueprint? Yeah.
So that's exactly what you're into, isn't it? So when you look at personal development, so that means you're basically life coaching them, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So why is this important for a young person to know, and especially anybody who probably wants to get into business scenarios?
For personal development, that is the art of leading the self.
Yes.
You can't lead others if you've not led yourself. So it is important you have a vision board. So you're able to have a direction to where you want to be. And for any business to thrive, you need to have direction. You need to lead others to your direction by also bringing them into your space.
Yes.
It also makes you have clarity. And I always say, for any business to thrive,
yes,
you have to invest in your personal development by ensuring your trap is authentic. By trap I mean talent. You use your resources, then your abilities and your passions. They have to be consistent.
Wait, Annabelle, we have to repeat that. That is trap, isn't it?
Yeah,
make sure
trap.
that your trap is good. It actually has a meaning.
Yes.
At first,
Yeah.
and also a meaning on top of that meaning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trap, in this sense, we're talking about talent.
Talent.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And then after that, we go to
Resources. What resources
do you have, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then after that, we go to
abilities,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then after that, we go to
passions.
Yeah. Let's first start with talent. Can you therefore lead somebody through this process without them having known what their talent is?
No, the first process to identifying your trap is self-identity.
Self-identity.
Yeah, self-identity.
Yes.
For every person, we have 3 persons in every person. The first person is the person you really are.
What is this person that I really am, Annabelle?
Yes.
What is this person that I really am? Let's try and understand that.
That is where self-identity, you try to make the person understand what is their self-identity.
Is it okay for me to say, probably right now, just to make me understand that? Is it okay to say that I, as Simba, I am hardworking person? That's me naturally. I would not give up until I get that result.
Yes.
Is that me?
Yeah, that is.
And
you.
in most cases, I would like to think that people get what is in my mind. It's not hard for people to see what is in my mind. Is that me now? That's self-identity, isn't it?
Yeah, that is self-identity.
Yes.
Yeah, that takes you to the second person. The people you think others think you are.
Ah,
So
very
the first
important.
one is self-image.
Yes.
The second one is self-reputation.
Yes.
What do others think of you? Who are you?
Oh, now that's reputation.
Yeah, that is reputation.
Yes. Which pretty much hangs on to the first one, isn't it? Because
Yes.
who you are is what is going to be reflected out of you,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And so can you manage who you are, Annabelle?
Yes.
You can.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you can manage who you are if you understand who you are.
I see that now, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Third person in this sense we're talking about?
Yes, yes, I am.
Yes. Okay.
But it has taken time to develop that person.
Yes.
It takes a lot of developing daily. Go to school if you have to, listen to clips if you have to, get into action if you have to, so that the third person is the person you are presently. What are your fears? What are you doing at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the second part of that trap, resources, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you talk about resources, that's a general term, really. People can look at it from different perspectives. So what are we talking about here, Annabelle?
By resources, I mean, what do you have at hand?
What you have at hand.
If you want to establish a business,
Yes.
what do you have?
I see that.
Do you have the finances? Do you have the knowledge? Knowledge is also a resource. Yeah, it is looking at what do I have at the moment to get to the next step.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one, ability, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, what is this now? Ability. How is this different from resources now?
Abilities is what are you good at?
Okay.
What are your gifts?
Okay.
What makes you unique? If you start a business, the same business with your neighbor, why will I come to you and leave the other one? What is this innate ability do you have? What keeps you going?
Yes.
Is it your motivation? Is it your attitude? Is it your discerning?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to this, the last one, that P, and I want to ask you this question this morning. Is it possible to identify your talent and not necessarily be passionate about it? Is it possible? Because when you have talent up there and passion down here, then they gotta meet somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it possible to have talent and not be necessarily passionate about it?
If you have a talent, you must be passionate about it.
Where's the thin line there?
The thin line is
Yes.
if you do not know what your talent is.
Oh.
Let me give an example. You're a journalist.
Yes.
Maybe your talent, as you're growing up, you were talented in giving talks,
Yes.
in speaking in public, but you are not, so you are passionate about the talking, about being on the screens. So for you to identify your passion, you have to have an idea of what is this you're good at, which is your talent. If you're good at singing, it means you're passionate at singing. But these two can be different if you have no idea of what is your specific talent.
Yes.
What is that gift that makes you Simba, that makes you unique?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you look, Annabelle, when you look at all this that we're talking about personal development.
Yeah.
Why is this really important for somebody to understand, therefore? And can you get a part of that and say that I've gone through the whole process of personal development? What's the process of fully developing yourself? Yes.
The first thing is I have that motive. I want to develop, make that deliberate decision. Because the decision takes you to the next level of moving out of your comfort zone and looking for the opportunities towards your passion.
Yes.
So the first thing is find what makes you sing, what makes you happy,
Okay.
what makes you fulfilled. There's a concept I love in the Japanese, it's called ikigai. It's the reason of being.
It's the reason of being.
Yeah. So in ikigai, you have your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession. Where they intersect is your ikigai. What makes you rise up every morning? When you realize that, you will be able to look for the opportunities to develop. If it's going back to school, you'll go back to school. If it's reading a book,
To read that book, isn't it? Yes.
If it's realizing what I have this business idea, how can I go about it? You'll be able to approach the people who have gone before you, and they'll be able to empower you and mentor you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want us to get to the tail end of this conversation this morning. Just before I ask you, I get to join your program and what you expect to get from your program as well. How long does it take for you to fully say, that's my graduate, they fully understand themselves? Is it a process that, number one, never stops, or you can say, after 6 months or so, I shall have helped you personally develop yourself?
Personal development, it depends with the individual.
Yes.
We are all very unique. There's someone who, we have Abraham Maslow's self-actualization, the hierarchy of needs, where you have the physiological, the safety, self-esteem, then self-actualization.
Yes.
So for one, self-actualization depends on each individual. My self-actualization can be being the greatest psychologist in the world.
Oh, I see that.
Someone else is buying a V8. So for also now personal development, it depends with what is your vision board. What is the ultimate vision board of your plan, of your life?
And so do you need help to really know what it is that you want in life?
Yes.
Or in your business? Like what will want at the end of this business? If it's, can you just say, I'm just going to make profits and that's it? I just want to live a good life and that's it. Do you think that's like a personal goal in life? Are there concrete goals in life when you're telling somebody, I need to personally develop you? Is there a higher level other than to just run a successful business, to live a good life, to drive that V8 that you want to drive? Is there a higher level that you want this person to really target and achieve?
Yeah. Now for business, like let me give an example of a business. For you to have a successful business, you have to sustain it. And for you to sustain it, you need to self-lead yourself.
Yes.
Because you can't manage something if you can't manage your own life. So if you have that business idea, you need to, somebody needs to show you how do you package your idea. You can have an idea, but you don't know how to package. How do you brand yourself?
Yes.
Before I buy something from you, I need to understand the brand. Your reputation, I buy your reputation first before your product.
Yes.
And for in the long term, for in the business field, you need to network. And for you to network with people, you need to understand who am I, what do I have, what am I selling to you. You'll buy the person first before you buy the product.
I see that.
Yeah, and so you need to gradually and have a daily routine of developing yourself. What is my shortcoming and what can I do to improve it? It's supposed to be a continuous process.
Yes.
If you stagnate, your business stagnates. Yeah.
So now let's talk about how this process is going to take. Is there a timeline to getting a life coach? And generally, what have you seen the timeline is?
I could not say there's a timeline. It depends with the individual. As a psychologist and as a life coach, it has not started in the 5 years before I got here.
Yes.
It is a process that has started for like 10 years, but I am still not there. I'm still growing. Because you meet different people, you meet different mentors. Then with the technology, things are changing. So you need also to be very alert and change. Be ready to adjust to change. Change management is also very important in every business and in every development.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Last question I have for you, Annabelle. It's interesting. I would have loved us to really talk about this, and once I call you here next, it will be, let's personally develop somebody who is at this point. What do they need to understand? That's going to be the conversation now in our next session. Now, how do I join your program if I want to join?
If you want to join my program, the first thing, we don't have any formula.
Yes.
You first enroll. We have a free session so that you can identify where are you.
Where do they enroll at?
You can give me a call.
Yes.
So that we can get you into the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. And then you'll take them through the whole process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of telling them exactly how to get benefits from your program.
Yes.
Annabelle, thank you very much for joining us here on Business.
Thank you for having me.
conversations around business, your markets, your economy, legislation. That's exactly what we've done for the past more than 2.5 hours here on Business M Metropole TV. Guess what? Get more of these conversations on our YouTube accounts. That is at Metropole TV. Talk to us. Hashtag Business M at Metropole TV KE across all social media platforms, or at Charles_Kiage, as I get to respond to some of your questions this morning and also tackle some of the issues that we've spoken about this morning. Guess what? It's time for breakfast. See you at 1 p.m. for Metropole News at 1.